They somehow are 3-0. Ticket prices are through the roof. He sold over $1 million worth of sunglasses just this past weekend. He had one of his sons just tear up the football field at quarterback. An unbelievable stat line for him. Yes, he had an interception, but if you watched it, almost a fumble. And then the other kid, man, pick six. Who'd have thunk it? It's really remarkable to see what he's been able to do in a very short period of time. He's got the fan base motivated. He's got, the ticket prices through the roof. He's got the attention of the mainstream media. I mean, everybody set up their game day shows in Colorado. That's the first time that they've done that in probably decades. But he faces 2 back-to-back challenges now, Jeff. It's no longer just a chippy Colorado State as an in-state rival. And yes, they won, but they were a 24-point favorite and won it in a double overtime and then stormed the field. I know the hype train is here. And a lot of the naysayers, Jeff, they say that comes to an end this weekend against Oregon or next weekend against USC. But at the same time, nobody thought they would beat both Nebraska and TCU, but they did. What say you? Can you keep it going against Oregon and USC? Or is it all hype?
I say this with all diplomacy. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I am so fascinated that, Primetime was the guy that he was a sports entertainer, obviously not a professional wrestler in that vein, but he's been entertaining in sport since college.
Yeah.
And he just kind of broke the mold. And I remember when he went to the Cowboys, and I'm just thinking, man, that team is just ready-made for him. But he was a star at Florida State. He's always marketed himself. And did you see the piece on 60 Minutes last night, Conrad?
Loved it. Don't miss an episode of 60 Minutes. I'm a nerd.
Okay, I've always loved that show. But the piece on it, man, he gave flowers to your man Saban, which I love, which I absolutely love. But, when you kind of drill back and he says, hey, we gave 15 staffers and this and that, and the interview was fascinating. And he got a little old school in there because he's very disciplined, and he's got new school and everything. But, man, he is a leader that's selling hope. And I think it's just super cool to see how it's come out. And you kind of stole my line in there that we're talking about Logan Paul. The opposing coach, this is where my head goes, Conrad. Did Deion call up the opposing coach and say, hey, man, take a dig about my glasses. I want to sell some glasses. I know that's maybe a little far-fetched, but that opposing coach, just walked up to Deion and family and opened up a Brinks truck, because the comments of those people that don't know, Deion Sanders beat TCU, which was in the college national championship game last year. They upset them game 1. He walks into a press conference, after game 2, beating Nebraska, he walks in with a hat on and sunglasses on in the press conference. So going into this week, the opposing coach wants to get his team maybe fired up and said, I was taught by my mother that when you talk to adults, you take your hat off and your glasses off. Deion spun that around and made the speech about, okay, this guy made it personal. He's talking about my mama, and he's talking about sunglasses. And, oh, by the way, I've got a brand of sunglasses, and so I'm going to talk about it. I sold 1.2 million in a day. It's just fascinating, the Logan Paul fight, just how all that is done organically via social media. Because it wasn't like, yes, the sports centers and the Fox Sports of the world, that they put it out there, but it was all over social media. We just live in a fascinating time, don't we, Connie? I mean, it's crazy how all that just, we weren't even really thinking about. I don't know. Hey, isn't it cool that Deion's quarterback, it's one of his sons is the great quarterback. Deion Jr. is
safety.
But what's the kid's name who's running the production side of things?
Yeah, so he's got one kid running the social, doing all the YouTube videos and things like that. Yes. And another kid as a safety wearing number 21 doing pick sixes. And the other kid throwing for, 400 yards a game.